What's up, guys? This is Tristan, and today I'm going over exactly what pressure washing equipment you need to start. And I remember whenever I was starting, I was looking up YouTube videos just like this one, and it was just so confusing. It was just, I don't know how to describe it. And my goal of this video is to distill this down, make this as simple of a process as possible for you and for me so that you get the gist. Now, what you're seeing behind me is my trailer setup. Evidently, you don't need a trailer setup at the start. I would completely go against that. The number one rule for me is I'm not spending and getting in debt with a trailer until I know how to get jobs. But this is just for organizational perspective. It makes it a lot easier for me to broadcast on YouTube. And so what you're seeing right here are my pressure washers on this engine and this engine. You don't need an 8-gallon. You don't need a 6.5. You need a 4-gallon or 2.5-gallon per minute. You can get these at Home Depot. You can get these at Lowe's. Whatever you need to get, they are probably there. Now, the biggest thing that I've learned is that it's not about PSI, but it's about gallons per minute. If you can get more gallons per minute, that means you can wash faster. PSI is going to take a lot longer if you don't have the gallons per minute correctly. That's why I would recommend starting with a 4 rather than a 2.5. But if you only have the capital for 2.5, it'll still get the job done, but it'll just take longer. Now, I wanted to go over garden hose. Garden hose, basically any sorts of hose. My preference is Flexzilla. This is a 3/4 ID. It doesn't get that many kinks. It's super flexible, hence the word Flexzilla. This is my go-to hose. Basically, you hook it up to the spigot. I get this asked all the time. Are we using the customer's water? Yes, we are. We always hook that up, and then it goes to the tank or the pressure washer. You're going to hook that garden hose up to your pressure washer, and now you have flow of water. All right? Now, this is pressure hose. This gray hose is very important, guys. You can buy this off Northern Tool. You can go on Amazon. You can go to your local washing distributor. But this is what hooks up to your pressure washer so that you can spray. This garden hose allows you to fill up the water to your washer. This is how you spray the water. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, I carry about, 100, 200, this is probably about 400 feet. Might be a lot. But I would recommend carrying about 100 to 200 feet. That's going to get most houses or commercial stuff. Now, at the end of this pressure hose, I put a ball valve. And what this does, if you could see this actually, this is making sure it turns on. The water's coming out now. And if I want to flip that off, it shuts all water off. Doesn't turn the machine off, but it takes the water off. I put that at the end of my pressure hose. And then I can put, and I'll go over the nozzles in a quick second, but then I can put a gun and I am good to start rolling, baby. Let's go. Now, I wanted to talk about hose reels because hose reels are super important for organizational perspective. If you're at a job site and you're carrying around hoses, it starts to become physically demanding in some sorts. It starts to suck. So you can literally buy some of these hose reels on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace for relatively cheaper if you decide to do a trailer build like this, or you could get one of these that I'm about to show on the voiceover because this is really good for just having them on site. I promise you when you're raveling up the hoses after, it sucks, and hose reels, in my eyes, are a necessity. That's just me. Now, I wanted to go over 4 nozzles that you have to have whenever you're spraying. And so this is the wash gun. You're going to be spraying it. Boom, 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 boom. This is the gun. Now, what you do with these, you have 2 options here. So I like the Sharpshooter M5 Twist or the Soap Blaster, whatever it is. You connect it at the end of the gun. Boom. Now you're rolling. or you have the J rod. And you're going, boom, you're spraying. Zzz. And all this connects towards your pressure hose, right? We're turning it on. And now we're spraying. There we go. That's how you do it. Now I wanted to talk about how you can actually spray chemical onto properties. This is a big part about pressure washing, and this is a downstream injector right here. Now, I put this little 1/4 spa hose on here that just goes onto that barb. You can see this is the barb. And it goes into whatever you're going to be downstreaming or whatever you're going to be pulling the chemical from. Downstream equals pulling chemical. If I've got this chemical right here, I'm just going to connect this to the washer and I'm going to dip this into the tank. Now, one big thing about this downstream injector is that, do you see the arrows? You see this arrow going this way? Wherever you're spraying, say there's a house this way, that arrow needs to be pointing that way. It needs to be pointing towards the direction that you're spraying. Vitally important, because if it's spraying the opposite direction, it's not going to pull. This thing is a game changer. I think this is very important to note that these quick connects go on at the end of each and every single thing. Now, mind you, let me scoot this back a little right quick. So for example, on the right side is the male and on the left side is the female. You pull the left side back and now you're going. Clip it in. These connects go everywhere. You see them at the very end of the gun, at the very end. This is how you connect everything. Hoses, all of it. These quick connects are super duper important. Must have. Now, I like having a toolbox on set just because, and it doesn't have to be like this, but anything that you have, I call it the oh shit kit, where in case if, for example, a nozzle goes out or a quick connect goes out, I've got a wrench here. I've got screwdrivers. I've got extra nozzles in here. I've got extra chemical in here. I've got extra O-rings in here. Anything that you could see potentially going down, I have a backup in this toolbox just in case if something goes down. Now, I did want to talk about O-rings. O-rings. This was really confusing for me. I remember my first wash job that I ever did. It got super confusing, but if you ever see any leakage at the bottom of your gun, say there's water spewing, it's probably because one of these things, which happens to be inside of this quick connect right here, either broke, it either shattered, it either ripped off. So you want to have an extra one of these O-rings that you can put inside of this quick connect, and that will stop any of the drippage. Very important. You want to make sure that there's no dripping going around because you're not going to be able to flow properly. I think everybody should have a pair of gloves. I know these don't match. Some glasses. I know that doesn't have the extra. These are just extra spare ones for me, but anybody should have a pair of gloves or glasses, especially if you're dealing with chemicals or just water in general. Just keep your hands safe. Now, I think this is actually very important. A pump-up sprayer. So if you need to pull, say you need to pull an extra percentage of SH or pull a stronger percentage of chemical, this is what you need to have, especially when starting off. Obviously, you just pump it and then it sprays. Oh, there it goes. But make sure you have one of these on deck. It's super important. These always do tend to to break very often. So I would have a backup on board just in case if something happens. I think having a fuel tank on all facets with gas in case if the pressure washer runs out of gas is very important. So make sure you have a gasoline tank. You can get one at Home Depot. You can get one at Ace Hardware, whatever it is. I just keep mine on the truck. It's about 10 gallons worth, but just make sure you have one. I gotta say that, especially in this video. Now, this is a surface cleaner. Mind you, my sweatpants suck. But this is how you clean concrete, guys. And you don't have to have this big one. There's certainly more affordable options out there. There's 16 inches. And a good rule of thumb for every surface cleaner is for every gallon per minute that you have, you can add 4 inches to your surface cleaner. So if I have a 4 gallon per minute, I can get a 16 inch. If I have a 8, then I can get a 32 inch, etc. Now, I like using this because we can use it, but this is basically you clean concrete, you're going around. I think this is a must have. You have to have this to clean concrete just because it makes it so much smoother. It's just, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. Another thing that you kind of need is a water key. This is how you can basically hook up to commercial spigots. It has 4 ways right here. Each size is going to be a little bit different, but to access water, normally you need one of these water keys. This is my personal setup. I just want to show it to you guys. I run with an 8.5 gallon per minute, a 6.5 gallon per minute. We've got hose reels, pressure hose, garden hose, this big water tank. You don't need a water tank right now, especially starting off. But once you get to more than 4 gallons per minute, you do need a tank. I've got my fuel, I've got my battery, I've got my chemical, my toolbox, my surface cleaner over there. But this is how I roll. This is how I mechanize. You know, I know a lot of people do it differently, but this just gets the job done for me every single time. But yeah. Now I wanted to talk about the tank. You do not need a tank when starting off. The only reason you need a tank is if you get more than 4 gallons per minute, because the spigot will not produce enough flow, meaning that you need to put this into a tank. The tank circulates the water really well and makes sure the pressure washer is actually working properly. Sometimes spigots can actually reduce flow or they have more flow than usual. So it's always an unknown factor. That's why I kind of use a tank. And I mean, I'm running more than 4 gallons per minute, so I have to use a tank. This is my truck. I think that when you're starting this off, you don't have to have a truck. I would highly recommend probably having a truck of some sort just because it makes it a lot easier to carry things. You can put your surface cleaner in the back of your bed, your pressure washer in the back of your bed, hose reels, all of that stuff in like a Toyota. I've seen people do it. Don't get me wrong, but if you have a truck, you're off to a good start. This is my truck. Hopefully you like it. Smash the like button if you like the design on it. I made it up, but yeah. Some advice that I think everybody needs to have whenever getting equipment: don't go in debt. Learn how to get jobs first. Make sure that you know what the hell you're doing, because I see so many people, they just don't know what they're doing. They'll break stuff. Stay organized and have fun, man. Have fun. I know that washing has helped me quite a bit. But I just wanted to kind of get back. I don't sell anything on this channel, so if you guys want to definitely subscribe. I'm posting every Tuesday and Friday at around 5:15 Central Standard Time. But man, you know I love everybody on this YouTube. I hope you guys got some value out of this. And definitely take a look at the next video if you're learning how to know which chemicals to use within this industry. Either way, I'll see you guys later. Peace.